I'm Trek with 2Ks.
Oh man, and here we go. We are in. Hola, hola, buenos noches, buenos tardes, GnGs. My name is Trekkw2ks, and did my mic just do something? I feel like my audio just went funky. Can somebody give me like or it might have just been one of the headphones, a thumbs up or something in the chat on the YouTube side? That would be greatly appreciated. So I know what the hell is going on. But yeah. So hey, it's a Monday. What's going on? My name is Trekkw2ks. This is the Trekkw2ksLive segment, done pretty much once a week, just like 4 times a month. And the basic idea here is I go through Twitter, today, a day before, X number of days back. I don't try to do the full week just because, Twitter is a 24-hour minute by minute like posting thing where basically you can have 100 of the same tweets in like 5 minutes of postings. So I keep it to like that 48 72-hour thing. And so yeah, there's definitely been a couple of things that got my attention, right? So case in point, seeing this joint right here, scrolling through, and I bookmark stuff. The intention, because I'm also trying to figure out some other things going on with Twitter, is that I'm gonna try to get these things grouped for the year. So I don't know about going down as far as bookmarking them down to the month and like grouping them that way, but something I've been thinking about since the last uh posting, or I guess the last Monday. Well, because as I mentioned last Monday, I am experimenting on seeing if this whole pay thing going on with Twitter is really worth it. And so I am stepping out on a limb. I just looked today, right? And I see it. Apparently, I got the blue check. I said, oh, snap. They fucked around and gave me the blue check. Well, I'll take it for what it is. I don't think that means I'll have any extra authority on anything. I'm just some random guy who's now doing a faceless channel or segment pretty much. So yeah, just remember, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just somebody who happen to have been around in the space for a bit, and I'm kind of in that unk status right now because of how long I've been around, right? Not saying I'm a baller or a millionaire, I'm a crypto bro or any of that stuff. It just, been around for a minute, and seen a couple of things, right? And so yeah, but anywho, so first joint to get into is how Congressman Thomas Massey introduces bill to audit U.S. gold. I just thought that was kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see if it actually goes anywhere. I mean, it got a couple hundred comments, it got a number of views to it, but will it actually play out? I don't know. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Clark? It's good to see you, sir. How's that? Oh, how's that Cali weather? Then I seen this joint right here for Singapore, which arguably is not really saying anything new because I feel like Singapore, at least for the times I remember covering anything about it, was already moving into this direction. There's a story or two that I do have, or posting or two that I do have, that will jump into some other stuff. not other stuff, but related things as far as regulatory space. And again, if you've been following me for any amount of time, excuse me, you know that my thing is about looking at the local within like the American market or the American regulatory landscape, as well as the global regulatory landscape, and then, you know, seeing who's doing what. And as we've been seeing for over the last 5 years in particular, it has definitely been a steady move forward in these various regulatory areas or countries um, developing and maturing their regulatory sandbox. Like, bottom line, that's what we've been seeing going on. So Singapore is just really moving along and chugging along to the tune of what everyone else is doing, which is all right. Well, the word is officially out for X number, I guess, to say for like the global landscape. Hey, what's going on, prosecutor? Good morning to you too. So the word is going out like, hey, start getting your regulatory stuff really in sync, or like definitely more set up. Because it's about to get popping out here on this crypto thing. And yo, hold on one second. I did it again. All right, there we go. So yeah, I did it again. Left the dog tags on, and the sound just like irks me X amount. But so yeah, let's move on to this next story. Why did I bookmark this one? Oh, all right. So bet. So post goes, Tether CEO, Paulo Ardon. I know I'm messing up bro's name, but whatever. Right now, announces that it's a modular mining OS. Announces that its modular mining OS will be open sourced in Q 2025, designed for development from Raspberry Pi to industrial farms. MOS supports plugin integration for miners and power devices. It will be paired with Tether QVAC tools to optimize. Now, I will say, I am not certain. Optimized performance reporting, aiming to lower the barrier for small miners and promote open mining infrastructure. That apparently came out of their particular, or like directly from his account, whatever. Now, here's my question, because I've been telling y'all it's been a while for me, right? So like, Tether isn't proof of work. I don't know what the consensus mechanism on it, and Tether does not have a cap. So what are we doing? And then I heard something. There's a dude I pay attention to over on the YouTube side of content stuff, and he's his channel is called, and I think I've mentioned him before. His name is Kevin. He does China. What is it? China in business, or business in China, I think is the name of his channel. And so one of the things I've been noting about what's going on with his channel of late is he'll throw in these breakdowns of how he sees slash understands how stable coins are moving around or being incorporated within the Chinese economic system, right? Via Hong Kong. And if you've been paying attention to me for any amount of time, I've been talking about Hong Kong for a good hot minute, right? I didn't just jump on the bandwagon about it yesterday. Like, we're talking more than 2 years now, right? Where I'm going with this is, he was making a point about how, now one of the things that I kind of have in frustration about his take, or how he frames the use of stable coins and cryptocurrencies, is he doesn't do it in relation to how the technology works. And for the folks who've been in the space for a while, and you understand X amount of the back end stuff, he'll say things that'll be like, well, that's not exactly how that works. But I also understand that He's not talking to technical people. That is not his audience. His audience is business people who are interested in understanding an underground view of what's going on in the logistics and biz development world within China. And he definitely does have some good insight stuff that I've seen play out over the months. I think I've been following for like, I think nearly a year, a little over a year. But the point being is that it's interesting that this is happening now with the Tether announcement. And it's just like, well, all right, so we're going to open it up for mom and pop to farm level folks, right? Obviously, considering what is going on with Tether and how they're moving in the international market, like at some point, the big boys, the deep pockets are going to jump in on this if they're not already in on this. Because I honestly, this is the first time I've even seen this announcement, right? I don't pay attention to the space like that in terms of like, well, as y'all know, this is not a price talk channel. So you don't hear me say nothing about, oh yeah, put your money on this, put your money on that. Like, nah, do your due diligence and figure out what works for you. But in regards to this, it makes me wonder because I also heard something else mentioned that Tether might be doing a stable coin specifically for the American market because of the things going on with our legislation here. So it's just like, well, my brain being what it is, putting those things together to be like, okay, I know the overseas market and these what am I saying? These nation state deals that they're working out. It's more than what's going on here in the US, but there is a when you really kind of dig into like the back end of Tether for how they work to stabilize the quote stable coin, aka the peg coin, aka the blue dog, as I call them, aka, well, they're not really called the shit coin, but you get what I'm saying. There is a questionable connection it has to US financial instruments, i.e. the bonds, i.e. the USD, right? Tether is based on a basket at this point. This is not new news. This is the stuff they've talked about already, right? But nonetheless, the use case that is helping its propagation in the global scene is it has the least amount of slippage. So far, there's no crazy hindrances going on with how folks can use it over in the Asian markets, in the Latin markets, in the European markets, even in the African markets, right? So I guess to wrap it up, to say this is going to be an interesting development to see what things look like for Tether on the global scene at the end of this year. Like if this is a projected of we're going to open up our network and things that relate hardware wise to be like, here's the general public. Is this just closed to certain markets? I don't know. But so far, Tether seems to be on a good run. Now, is the American legislation and like whoever in that realm going to turn around and try to throw a monkey wrench in their stuff, especially for how things look with us right now and how we're looking at China, how we're looking at Russia? I don't know. That's a maybe. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see, because don't get y'all, we still haven't made like 6 months with, what are we, January, February? Yeah, we have not made a full 6 months. We've not made a year with the current president. So heaven knows. Heaven knows. Okay, so this was another thing that I seen that caught my attention today. 8 major U.S. crypto industry associations are set to release a joint statement with Uniswap and Jump in support of the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act, aka BRAC, being included in the revised Clarity Act. The legislation led by House aims to provide legal clarity for the development regarding money transmission compliance and codify FinCEN's 2019 guidance on unhosted wallets, which then gets into the because that's another thing that caught my attention today. Shout outs to Caitlin Long, because I saw her post about it first before I seen like Woo Blockchain and a couple other people. But she makes the point of like, she's been talking about the UCC Act 8 of something for a while now, about this whole thing with like how the government in relation to crypto is looking to be like, oh, well, we're not giving you your due rights in the that's a private property thing. Point being is Atkins made a I don't know, I'm not going to say presentation, but he did give a speech somewhere that basically went into talking about he is pro private wallet, and he is looking to encourage the development of more regulatory clarity around people having crypto in their own private wallets. Right now, y'all know me, or again, if you don't, hey, I'm Trekkw2ks, and I've said a number of times, there is nothing that holds any of these bureaucrats, any of these CEOs, any of these people in any government. But right now, we're going to focus on this American government. When they are at a podium, giving a speech, making a presentation, doing a podcast, whatever it is, a press release, there is nothing that holds them to the words that come out of their mouth. In my opinion, and if my recollection works as it does, time and time again, we have listened to folks who are supposed to be the official spokesperson, the government representation person, that's the head of the department person, say things that were either totally contradictory to the reality of things on the ground, as well as say things that are soup salad or like word soup salad. Case in point, Kamala Harrison. She was very good at some soup salad words, in my opinion. You do not have to agree with me. Joe Biden also had a number of those moments in his latter years in regards to administration-wise. The point being is, like, I get everyone's kind of excited about this. And granted, I'm not like super, let's do big government and blah, 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 blah about it. But until legislation actually comes into play, like, hey, let's actually write stuff up that actually like is codifying economic sovereignty or self-agency, in that people do have enshrined in law the ability and the right to spend, hold, store, save cryptocurrencies as they see fit, and it like makes it to like, this is not just a bill but actual law. I'm not counting all the eggs before they hatch. Like, we literally have had how many administrations tell us stuff, or not administration, because this is the bureaucrat side, right? Because again, like, SEC is delegated to what they do by the Congress. So he could talk all this good stuff that he wants now, but until Congress actually does stuff and take action, and then whoever's sitting in the White House to actually sign off on it, it don't really mean anything other than he gave a nice soundbite. That's the bottom line of it. You could disagree with me. If you do, comments is open. Just remember, we don't delete, we do keep receipts, right? I'm reading your comment right now, William. Those stable coins are going to be huge. You know, the EU is rolling out a stable coin by fall, according to Kristen. Yeah. Oh, so Germany is. Oh, I got another tag in here that I did. Germany said they about to do something. Let me throw that up there. Let's see how that looks. Okay, cool. That did do what I thought it was going to do. Where's the other one? Oh, I don't know what's going on in Paraguay, but like apparently the president's account or something, or their administration's thing got hacked, and someone decided to say that Bitcoin is going to be legal tender, right? And so maybe it was a thing, maybe it wasn't a thing. I don't know nobody, down that side, but if somebody had better take on this, like, on the grounds, like, hey, what happened? Like, how did this play out? I would love to hear it. Wait, hold on. Shows that wallet address is included in the post hole. What else it has? Okay. I don't know, but I just thought that was interesting that something like that was happening at that level. Who else was the other one? Oh, this. I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't know if this is even relevant for who this person is. Let me take this off real quick. So the UK Insolvency Service has appointed former police investigator Andrew Smalls. Here's how you know an American person wrote this, because they don't call their investigators police investigators. You're either like a DC or DCI, or it's a couple other acronyms because it's different levels. But nonetheless, just something that popped into my head just now. So he will be responsible for tracing and identifying digital assets in bankruptcy and criminal cases. The role based on the agency's investigation and enforcement services team. Based within the agency's investigation and enforcement services team aims to improve asset recovery efficiency. Bruh, like, he better have a at least a small team of people, like, because I can't. Now, granted, you can do a lot of analysis through services that like a Coinbase would provide, a chain analysis will provide. I don't know if this department has the budget for that, but I still can't see this man doing this whole job by himself. It would be interesting to see how this looks like a year later. Like, how much did he recover? As like a year later, did he actually make an effective dent or a notable dent? Excuse me, in what the government is trying to recover, as far as they see as any kind of criminal activity, or in terms of like bankruptcy things. Because the bankruptcy thing is, oh, you broke, hold on, let's look through your stuff. Oh, we saw you did something with the exchange over there. Oh, I don't know about that. It fell off the boat. I don't have the wallet no more. You could have said that to the person who didn't know how to use the blockchain scanners, right? You could have said that then. Which also, I have another story that kind of connects to this. This would be another crossover thing, but yeah. So it's interesting that, as opposed to being like, let's do a whole department, I feel like this is them dipping their toe in to be like, well, we'll give one person a thing to do. And mind you, we don't know what this dude's background story is. Is he actually a techie person? Was he actually involved in crypto? Did he do undercover work and like criminal gang stuff? No clue. Was he a forensic background guy? Nothing. This is the part where I say, Woo Blockchain, y'all got to write better than this. And I'm not even going to take the time to go to the original article, because they probably didn't write anything that great neither. Also, it's from... I might, but later on. Nonetheless, this is like them dipping their toe in it to see how much money they can shake out the tree. Right? This one. You saw it in the title. According to the block, crypto platform Uphold is exploring a US IPO or a potential sale to a payment firm, with FT Partners advising. A source said the company is targeting a valuation above 1.5 billion. CEO Simon McLoughlin I'm messing the name up, I know. Noted, Uphold is in talks with banks, brokers, and institutions considering both public listings and acquisition. Ooh. If they are, arguably, that is the exit of the big boy investors. Arguably, if they go for sell-off, it is the um exit of the big boy investors. If they go IPO, well, shit. Even if they go IPO, it's still the exit of the big boys investor who are like, all right, I made my money, I got how much out, X over for what I put in, da 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 da. This train is reaching a point that I don't care about this anymore. I'll get off here. I'm not worrying about that destination down there. Arguably, either way, the big investors are exiting. Now that it goes out, if it goes IPO and it goes to the public, because like how long, I don't even remember how long Uphold has been around, but they've been around for a while and they've been very pro KYC. We're looking to follow traditional banking. We just happen to do it with the crypto stuff. Which that makes me wonder, like, so what happened? See, because Brave browser and the token that they were pushing for the people who use that as their their internet browser, it's BAT, which is basic attention token, and you can only store it. Well, at least at the time, you could only store it. Well, how I say this, for the way Brave is set up, you can only get the token to be pushed over into the Uphold wallet. And then from there, you moved it wherever you wanted to move it, assuming you had a wallet that could hold it, right? Or you moved it to an exchange that you wanted to trade off that out for something else. This is going to be interesting, like to kind of keep track of it in the back of the brain, to be like, okay, if somebody buys it, who buys it? And they're probably going to piecemeal it out. Like, all right, well, we got this huge ass inventory, not inventory, but we got this huge ass data sheet of PII, because you had the KYC to get the Uphold wallet. So that's your whole first name, last name. Here's a picture of your driver's license. If you might have used your what's the thing, your passport, they could sell that off if they haven't already found a way to monetize on that. Then yeah, they have the infrastructure as far as the technology stack. That would be another way to sell off to monetize on that. They already have the connections as far as their integration within the banking, the traditional banking network. So that's like another thing to push some which way. I mean, I don't know if it would be worth more broken up or ooh. So one of the things that what's these damn things called? Investment funds, hedge fund. I cannot remember the name of the particular advertisement pay. Yeah, and that's another thing too, to move into the advertisement market. But basically they're investment firms that will acquire companies and then run huge debt bills with that company. And once they extract as much value and capital out of the business as they can, like they'll take out a super ass big loan, and then they'll like piecemeal the different parts of the company, the intellectual property, the physical hardware stuff, the whatever data set stuff they have, right? And then they just let the company go to crap and then sell it off or just scrap it after they've extracted as much value as possible. That could be a third direction that Uphold ends up going in. So maybe Uphold has like run its course. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they actually go IPO. It could be around for a little bit longer, right? But if our current economic situation really does screw up like some people are expecting it to. Does Uphold last as long? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But like I said, either way they go, the selling off or the IPO, the big boys, the original folks are exiting. Give me my money now. I'm out. I'll get off the train right here, right now. But the other thing I thought too when I saw this particular post was there might be a indicator of the coming trend of X number of the I don't want to say per se OG exchanges, because Uphold has been around for a while, but it's not a Coinbase, it's not a Kraken, right? It's not an Ether Delta. Who remembers Ether Delta? Ha! But it's been around long enough that it has an established level of professionalism, a name of awareness or brand awareness with the industry for folks who are looking more in the traditional sense of it, right? But the companies that have been around for that like 5-8 year so period, this might be the what's going on as we move into where it's X amount easier to get the IPO, because why? Market wise, people are trying to find every which way they can to make some kind of money. If it's a quick flip or if it's something like, all right, if I get in now at the ground level, this will play out over the next 5 to 10 years. And like, this would be cool. Like it'll grow to something. It'll be a it'll be a Charles Schwab's, it'll be a IBM, it'll be Cola, right? Some people are going to see the short run gains of it. Some people will see the long run gains of it. Will it actually be that? Will these other crypto related companies looking to move in this IPO direction now that this administration is like, oh yeah, we're going to be more, crypto friendly? Now that the new head for the SEC is like, we're not going to be like Gensler and them. Arguably, is the public getting pushed a fluff, but they don't know it? Like, is there a grift that is coming down the road as the big boys, the deep pockets, the Wall Street daddies exit the crypto space and push the smoke and mirrors BS part of it to the public, but like the part that's like really making the money, they stay where they are with it. They keep that close to the chest. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I could be way the hell off. I could be way the hell off on this. No, Deutsches Bank of Germany considers issuing their own stablecoin, which I don't see how that would work this late in the game. Like, you know what? Let me. And I believe I've said this before, like about CBDCs, right? Where CBDCs have been a thing as far as topic and discussion for a while. But at the same time, who's actually done we have a working model right now? It's China. The US, the Treasury been talking for how long? We had the papers come out. We had the website development. There's literally a website that tracks all of the countries and where they are in the phase of their development of a CBDC. And lo and behold, it's like, I think less than 5% have something that they can actually, excuse me, have something that they can push out to their public. And as far as I understand it right now, China's the only one that has actually done the public and the bilateral trade setup of like, we know the shit works. As far as a sovereign entity, a nation state that has we know it works. We know our public is down for it. Note right now, we don't have that over here in the States. We don't have that in Europe. We don't have that in Latin America. We don't have that in any of the other Asian countries. Russia doesn't even count either in this particular situation. So, yeah, it would be really crazy to see how they do this. As you can see, the post right below it, Chainlink, their Link token successfully facilitates Hong Kong and Australia CBDC/stablecoin exchange and pilot with Visa, Fidelity, and China AMC. Now, as I've been saying for how long now, Hong Kong is going to be the sandbox and the gateway for the mixing of various types of financial instruments for mainland China. I've been saying this for like what, 2 years now? 2? Maybe longer. It's gonna be the gateway. And Link, like Chainlink is doing what they doing over there. This is just another example of how, for at least how I'm taking it. And if y'all remember a couple months ago, a month or two ago, I have my boy oh God, he has this weird name that I can't think of right now, but he did a conference out. He went to a conference out there and he was telling me about some of the things when he came back. And I had him on to like try to explain some of the stuff. Like, you can literally have currency exchanges that do fiat and crypto. What do you think that's going to look like in another 5 years when we get past 2030? Like, those are already established things now. They're like 7-Eleven storefronts. They're there. You just walk in. Hey, I got this crypto. I need to get that currency. Hey, I got this currency. I need to get that crypto. That's where they are now. We still over here trying to figure out like how to not get got with the banks getting us. You put your money in the bank, and then the bank is like, you didn't give us money. Or you put your money in the bank, and the bank is like, well, we don't got to give you the money. Like, that's where we are right now, but no one really likes to talk about that factor. But anywho, as I said earlier, as far as the thing about what's his name, SEC Chair Paul Atkins, about working on a policy to exempt DeFi. Oh no, that wasn't it. But he was talking about private wallets. This post caught me because if you've been paying attention to the Gentleman of Crypto for any amount of time, you know that we have definitely, through the different segments and even like in the live chats back in the day, we talk about how there are companies that will market as DeFi, but for how they are set up, they are straight up centralized exchanges. There's nothing DeFi about them other than the name that they have and on their card or on their website. So I'm curious to see how that is going to play out when he says exempt DeFi platforms. And is it going to be just American based companies, or this is like across the board globally? I don't even see this type of policy coming into play and being established. Like, that's like another, if it even happens in this administration, I will be very surprised. And if it does happen in this administration, it will probably end up being more focused on American platforms. But when you really dig into it, you're going to see that they are centralized exchanges marketing themselves to the public as DeFi platforms. Just saying, be careful, folks, because here'd be the other thing. If that happens, where they actually make the policy, let's say within this administration, let's say it happens like another year and a half down the road, like official policy, SEC is like, yeah, come on, let's get these DeFi platforms, in. The commercials and the scams are going to be crazy. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they're going to they're gonna scale like crazy if this actually happened for implementation of the policy and stuff within this administration. I don't even know if I want to bother with that. Yeah. And yeah, whatever. All right, so this one caught my attention. I've told y'all already how I kind of feel about Pomp now and how he kind of does his talking points, but whatever. I don't have the 1,000,000+ followers on Twitter like Pomp does. I'm just some regular Joe Schmo who is in Unk status because I've just been around the space for a minute. But people know that guy's face because he gets to go on news channels, segments, and shows and stuff. And like I said, he has, I think, 1,000,000+ following on Twitter. But I saw this and it made me think of what Antonopoulos used to say. So basically, you see what it says: Bitcoin exported the American dream to anyone in the world. Now, did Bitcoin? Okay, look, the first question is like, well, is Bitcoin a part of the American dream? And if we say Bitcoin is a part of the American dream, and y'all kind of get my stance on this whole thing of, are we saying that the American dream includes economic sovereignty? Does it include self-agency? Does it though? Like for where we are now, for the laws, for the rules that we have in place, for our digital privacy, our economic privacy, is that the American dream? I would argue not. So to say that Bitcoin has exported the American dream, if the American dream doesn't involve the things that I just mentioned, then what did we export? Can somebody tell me that? What did Bitcoin export if the American dream does not follow or work in tandem with the ideals of how or what circumstances Bitcoin was initially created under and put out into the public? Explain that part to me. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it is like a profound little 2, 4, 6, 9-word tag. I mean, 9-word post. But I still question it in terms of the reality of this statement. Like, what do we really export if we aren't, like, again, also look at what is going on with Bassett and the stuff that he says and what he's trying to tell other countries, other nation states, like, yo, you can't do your market the way you're doing it. You have to do our stuff the way we tell you to do it. How does that work for economic sovereignty of a nation state? What does he care about the economic sovereignty of the citizens of that nation state if he wants to tell the leadership of that nation state how they have to operate to where it has to be for the benefit only of the US, or at least where the US is the prime benefactor, right? Like, what are we really exporting? And honestly, because of the volatility of how Bitcoin works, I was listening to, who was I listening to in it? It was an interview. Greg, what's his name? He's another financial macro guy. And he was talking about how when he was traveling through Latin America and he was using Bitcoin and like gold and silver, or just Bitcoin and gold. And he was saying how for some of the places that he was moving through, when it came to the crypto side, he found that as far as functionality, it was easier for him in some cases to deal with the stable coins such as Tether, because the people that he was making the transactions with, they would have preferred the Tether over the Bitcoin. Why? because of the slippage. That's a trading finance term, right? That's when the value of that financial instrument drops, right? So it might go down 2%, it might go down $3. Bitcoin or any crypto, really, you could be up $1,000, go take a nap and come back, and that joint be like 450. I literally know somebody that happened to where they took a nap or something, or they couldn't get on the phone for like 30 minutes, and they were up, I think, like over 5K on some shit coin they were holding. By the time they got back, like under 40 minutes later, that joint was what, more than half down, like 75% down. Like that's a back in the day thing, but nonetheless, for where we are now, again, I still ask the question, considering what we have our government officials saying, considering how Tether is finding all of these more practical use cases in these other markets, other in operational environments, where you have the traditional banking side that's connecting to it in the Asian countries, in certain parts of Europe. But then you also have the like, all right, hey man, like I got blah blah blah. You need, okay, bet we can do this in crypto. All right, bet I got this. You got, all right, bet. There is a lot more development happening around the world than we, I would argue, are paying attention to or seeing here in the States, because it doesn't fit our model of how we understand crypto. It doesn't fit our model of how we understand other economic systems or other social networks. And we kind of have this whole like black and white thing of like, oh, that's just illegal, or that's just bad, or like case in point, how when China was going through their, what's the thing, the housing crisis thing, right? Like Western economists were arguing, well, you need to do, X, Y, and Z to support the real estate. And for what I was, or who I was paying attention to, one of the things that they kept coming back to was Western economists and like other financial people kept saying, oh, this is going to ruin China. Oh, this is going to bring them down, and all of this stuff. And they were making a point of like, in the West, they want to take their values and framing of the world and tell you this is how you have to see it too, even though they're not acknowledging how you actually operate, how you actually live, how your society and your government structure works for your social norms, not the thing we export as like Western / American social norms, right? You got to remember, America's only been around for like under 500 years, right? So us, and then the stuff that we have going on now, let's say in the last, like, what is that, under 100 years, 80 years, so that's after World War II, like that set of social norms is a drop in the bucket. That set of how we perceive East versus West, that set of how we look at the doing things for the greater good in the collective, that's a drop in the bucket to X number of other places. But yet, somehow, Bitcoin exported the American dream. I don't know if I agree with the statement, but I do think it is interesting. And then this goes to the thing that I was saying earlier about like how I've showed John Deaton stuff a couple of times, but what he's responding to in terms of Elon's post, which says the difference between reality and the legacy media is insane. And he was basically making a point about how like the media is just gaslighting the hell out of the public for what is going on around them. and saying one thing while there's a whole nother situation playing out, like the reality and how things are being what they say, like whitewashed or like gaslit and all of that stuff. You know what's funny? So today I was watching an episode of Andor, right? Star Wars, for any of you folks who are into the Star Wars realm. And one of the things in this episode, and this is season 2, that I found interesting, which I feel like was so relevant to the stuff going on with us right now in the US, where we are watching the government say one thing and then do something else. We're watching this administration do it. We've seen previous administrations do it. I don't know if to say Biden's was the worst administration to do it, but it was very interesting just to see how the particular like episodes were playing out with what was going on in the storyline. So basically, I'm gonna throw this out to y'all, because if you don't watch it, you don't watch it. The season, I think, is already over. So basically, the storyline of Andor is it takes place before the Rebel Revolution thing, and this is like I think 10 years or something before. But the Empire realizes that there is an energy source in this planet. They want the energy source. But what they found out was, when we take this energy source from the planet is just going to die. So the people of the planet are also going to pass. And so they did this thing where they came down and they just built like this huge building, like right in the major capital city. And when they were having their meeting with the higher up military people, it was like, hey, we just can't worry about, like, not we can't worry, but we just can't do campaigns about how the Goran people are bad people. We need to have control opposition. So they literally spent a year of feeding rebels information about how the resources, the building of the new fortress building was coming down to the planet. And then they would do these different little attacks and everything, and they would like break stuff and explode things and like steal stuff and da. They do this for like a year or something, all to build up the confidence of the opposition. And then they bring in a whole nother set of the Empire's people to then make a head-to-head hit of where the Empire literally sacrifices its own soldiers to agitate the local population, and they actually like unalive their own people to then set the whole commotion off. And it made me think of a number of things that I'm aware of just because of the things that I pay attention to. The books that I've read, the interviews I've listened to, and just the conversations I've had with people, where it's just like, wow, man, that's crazy how art imitates life. It's like, you can't make up a story like that in real life. And this is like, you want to bet you can't make up a story like that in real life? Like, how I'm gonna say this? I'm always amazed at how people in the States will be like, well, America's about democracy and America's this and America's all these pro sounding adjectives. And like, well, the government would never do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, that's only because you don't like to read history, that you do not understand like the deep context of how much like fuckery we have done over the decades. And in my opinion, and this also applies to like military folks, I love my brothers and sisters out there, but like there's a level of willful ignorance to be like, well, that had nothing to do with me, or that was before my time, or that's not how we are now, or no, we didn't do that. Just flat out, no, we didn't do that. You know what else is an irony? And I'm gonna stop on this tangent and go about my day, but we eventually always tell on ourselves. The American government eventually always tells on itself. From Iran Contra to the disappearings down in Latin America to the I think it's gonna be so hilarious when the Ukraine pipeline thing comes out. Like that's gonna be like 50 years down the road, maybe 40, maybe. But we always eventually tell on ourselves, whether it's some book comes out, some whistleblower thing, somebody eventually like does a file, somebody actually does all of the homework to write the book or the article, and then like they can put names and dates together. Like it's so wild to me. But yet people are still so wholeheartedly like, no, America, blah, blah, blah. We would never do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, all right, like, and for those of you who are aware of the whole like gang relation, if you've been in the with the Warrior Network for a minute, you know what the gang reference is. It's not the street gang type, it's the uniform type, right? I look at it and it's like this is what my operational environment is, right? I'm trying to make it to retirement, and I honestly take into account like, yes, my government has done these things, and this is just where we are right now. And hopefully at some point we get to make enough vote changes that like we will come up with another foreign policy that does not have us doing the things that we've done over the past multiple decades. Hopefully. I don't know how hopeful I am in that particular long run view because people are people, but I'm gonna get off my high horse right now and get back on this Twitter stuff. So yeah, saw this by Kate talking about the whole UCC Article 8 in 1994 stuff, and it relates to what Atkins was talking about with the self-custody stuff. And it's just like, all right, this would be interesting. But again, until the policy, like, implemented, dragged out, whatever, and then it's still going to be a thing of like, how much actual self-agency is there to it? Or is it going to be one of those like, well, we'll give you like 5 out of the 15 things that would like say that this is a private crypto wallet. That's my thought process. I don't know if I see this playing out the way or thinking or hoping that it would. 74 comments, over 140, but is it actually going to be that? I don't know, folks. I don't know. Is he going to be in his seat for the whole 4 years to like try to make headway on this? I don't know. Maybe. But anywho, I've rambled on a number of different things. Some of it was crypto related. Hopefully some of what I said got you thinking. Hopefully some of what I said got you like wanted to actually do your own due diligence on some of the things that are going on in this space and how eventually it will come down to be in your everyday part of life. And hopefully you're prepared for it. Hopefully, right? That's what I got for y'all tonight, man. It's a Monday, and I do hope that you had a productive over busy day. I do hope that the day didn't stress you out too much. And the weekend was like you were able to recharge your batteries, because I definitely know there's been a number of things happening of people getting hurt, jobs getting lost, folks worrying about their bills, like life out here lifing. Life out here lifing. But nonetheless, we're gonna close this night out. As I say to y'all, from one human to the next, I continually wish y'all the best. And as I say, like from one human to the next, I wish you to be in a safe place, in a safe space, and in good company. Yeah, that's what I got for y'all, man. I'm over here waiting for my. Oh, you're not doing it. Why aren't you doing it? Oh, yeah, I gotta add in. I did this image through Grok. I have to say, Grok, I've been playing around with it a little bit more. It's been interesting. Because I was wondering about X amount of the stuff folks are doing with these new anime selfies and stuff. So I was playing around with stuff today, and this is what I got for you. I mean, it's not what's that? Not Dreamweaver. I forgot the name for it right now, but Grok, it's interesting. It's interesting. But like I said, y'all, have a good one. Until next Monday. Yeah, check y'all out, man.
I'm Trek with 2Ks.